Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon mga ka-ABC, mga ka-awesome, mga ka-Daily R's. Welcome back to another episode of Daily R's where we read, reflect, and respond to the Word of God, and it is also our form of spiritual feeding, no? Ito yung kinakain natin every night for our spiritual bodies to stay healthy, to stay strong, and nakukuha natin yung nutrition natin from the Bible. And currently, sa part ng Bible, sa Judges, the book of Judges, we are reading from the book of Judges. And tonight we're going to read from chapter 13, verses 1 to 25. And we're going to read from the life of another judge. A judge I think most of us are familiar of. No? So ayan, itong babasahin natin maya chapter 13. At syempre, kasama ko dito sa stream ay si Ate Ses. Yun siya. Hello. You know.
Hello,
How are you, Ate?
Good evening.
Awesome indeed.
Hi, Kuya O.
Hello. How are you? How you've been?
Ayan. So, I'm okay. I'm energized kasi tulog lang ako buong araw. Yan. And I've been fine these past days. And yeah. How about you, Kuya O? How are you?
Ako naman, medyo pagod. So, din, kasi workout day ko today, so medyo masakit ang katawan. So, pero everything's okay. Everything's all good. Tapos, medyo naulan pa kanina, so ang comfortable ng weather, parang naantok tuloy ako ngayon. Di ba?
Oo, true.
Sobrang cozy. Pero, ayun, all goods din naman. So, thank you, Ses, sa kumusta and sa update. And nandito na rin mga ka-awesome natin. Kumustahin natin sila. Si Kuya Jesse, nauna ngayon. Hi, hello. Hello, hi, Kuya Jesse. And si Ate Ashley, blessed evening, awesome people. Hello, Ate. And si Arnel, blessed evening, ka-ABC, C-D-E-F-G. All right. And then si Kuya Jesse, dagdag niya, let's go, awesome eve, everyone. And si Ate Ken, good evening. Good evening din po sa'yo. And nandito rin si Ses, you're everywhere. Awesome evening, everyone. All
Support
right.
team.
Oo nga eh. Support yourself, di ba? Your first supporter is yourself. And si Leia, Ate Leia na nasa YouTube. Hey, happy daily hours. Happy daily hours. And si Mother Dear, good evening. Good evening, ma. Dito rin si Keisha. Good evening din sa'yo, Ate Keisha. Ayan. And like I said, we're going to read chapter 13 tonight. And we're going to read from a new judge. And I bet we're familiar of his life or him, no? Lagi itong nababanggit, and merong napaka-iconic about his hair. Siguro alam niyo na sino to, di ba? Pero ayan, babasahin natin siya maya-maya. And dito na rin si Ate Lea, nag-awesome na siya, ready na ako, ready na rin kayo mga ka-awesome, sabay niyo si Ate Lea mag-awesome. Si Josh, dito na rin. Josh, how are you? Awesome evening din sa'yo, kuya. Ayan. So, I'll wait for some others. Yung kagabi, kinunclude na natin yung record about Jephthah, yung previous judge, no? And the three other judges na napaka-igsi nung record nila, but still, they were recorded as judge, and which is still a service to the Lord. So, kagabi, nabasa rin natin ngayong about kay Jephthah, where he had conflict with the Ephraimites. Na common with the Ephraimites, di ba, inaaway din nila si Gideon noon, na naging parang response or takeaway din natin or insight natin about the Ephraimites, how they are, parang may pagka-war freak sila eh. Gusto nila laging sumasali, gusto nila laging sikat, di ba? Lagi silang kasali, ganun. So, they inaway nila si Gideon, pero Gideon was able to handle the situation. But with Jephthah, he almost handled the situation, pero ang pinaka-conclusion pa rin niya or solution niya dun sa conflict with the Ephraimites is to gather his men and to defeat the Ephraimites. And that's what he did, no? Which naging insight din natin kagabi was the character of Jephthah, na medyo impulsive siya with yung first instance nga with his vow, 'di ba? Yung vow niya napaka-impulsive and napaka-general. Anything that comes out of the door, it could be anything. So, ang laki nung risk. So, we should be very careful with that. And ito nga yung impulse niya with how he dealt with the conflict with his brothers, no, half brothers niya, the Ephraimites. And then after that, ito yung tatlong judges, Ibzan, Elon, and Abdon. Like the other judges na binasa natin, no, si Jair, tsaka sino pa yung isa? Si Jair tsaka si Tola. Paiksay din lang yung record nila, but it's so nice that they are still recorded here. Their legacy being judged is still remembered in history. So, nakuha natin dun is that we just serve, diba? Our service will not be forgotten. That is recorded in parang ba recorded? Acknowledged by the Lord as long as it is wholehearted, and ayun. So, continue to serve, continue to encourage one another. And ang dami pang napag-usapan kagabi about the last parts of Jephthah's record and these three judges. Ayun. And after that, after Jephthah, Ibzan, Elon, and Abdon, ang next na sumunod na judge ay si Samson. Ayan na, the birth of Samson, yan ang babasahin natin ngayong gabi. Verses 1 to 25 muna kasi itong buhay ni Samson napakahaba dito sa Book of Judges, no? Kung yung iba tulad ni Abimelech or ni Gideon or sino pa yung ibang judges, ang haba ng record, napaka-detalyado. Mas lalo na tong si Samson. Ayan, so mahaba-haba. Kaya verses 1 to 25 muna tayo ngayong gabi. At kung ready na kayong basahin yan at nakabuklat na ang inyong mga Biblia sa part na yan, type nyo ng awesome para awesome, diba? Dito na rin si Kuya Jeremy. Good evening sa'yo, Kuya. And si Rian. Hello, good evening, good evening. Daming nasa YouTube ngayon, eh. Alright. And si Ate Ashley. Samahan nyo na si Ate Ashley at si Ate Lea na nag-awesome para basahin na natin yan. And ano pa ba? Nabanggit ko ba kung nasan yung video last night? Andyan lang yun sa Facebook and also sa YouTube. You can watch them again. Not just the video last night, but even like the past year. Nandyan yung record ng lahat. Kung meron kayong mga, parang nahirapan kayong i-dissect yung, kunyari, the Book of Hebrews, we have a record of that. The Gospels, we have videos about the Gospels. So, kakalkalin nyo lang yung YouTube channel dyan. So, ayan. Dami na nag-awesome. So, tara. Let's go. Ate Saz, ready ka na ba magbasa?
Awesome. I'm excited.
Alright. Excited siya. Sige, let's go. Ayun. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So, the birth of Samson. Judges 13. The Israelites again did what was evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines 40 years. There was a certain man from Zorah, from the family of Dan, whose name was Manoah. His wife was unable to conceive and had no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, "Although you are unable to conceive and have no children, you will conceive and give birth to a son. Now please be careful not to drink wine or beer or to eat anything unclean, for indeed you will conceive and give birth to a son. You must never cut his hair, because the boy will be a Nazirite to God from birth, and he will begin to save Israel from the power of the Philistines." Then the woman went and told her husband, "A man of God came to me. He looked like the awe-inspiring angel of God. I didn't ask him where he came from, and he didn't tell me his name. He said to me, 'You will conceive and give birth to a son. Therefore, do not drink wine or beer, and do not eat anything unclean, because the boy will be a Nazirite to God from birth until the day of his death.' Manoah prayed to the Lord and said, 'Please, Lord, let the man of God you sent come again to us and teach us what we should do for the boy who will be born.' God listened to Manoah, and the angel of God came again to the woman. She was sitting in the field, and her husband Manoah was not with her. The woman ran quickly to her husband and told him, 'The man who came to me the other day has just come back.' So Manoah got up and followed his wife. When he came to the man, he asked, 'Are you the man who spoke to my wife?' 'I am,' he said. Then Manoah asked, 'When your words come true, what will be the boy's responsibilities and work?' The angel of the Lord answered Manoah, 'Your wife needs to do everything I told her. She must not eat anything that comes from the grapevine, or drink wine or beer, and she must not eat anything unclean. Your wife must do everything I have commanded her. Please stay here, Manoah told him, and he will prepare a young goat for you. The angel of the Lord said to him, If I stay, I won't eat your food, but if you want to prepare a burnt offering, offer it to the Lord. Manoah did not know he was the angel of the Lord. Then Manoah said to him, What is your name, so that we may honor you when your words come true? Why do you ask my name? The angel of the Lord asked him, Since it is beyond understanding. Manoah took a young goat and grain offering and offered them on a rock to the Lord, who did something miraculous while Manoah and his wife were watching. When the flame went up from the altar to the sky, the angel of the Lord went up in its flame. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell face down on the ground. The angel of the Lord did not appear again to Manoah and his wife. Then Manoah realized that it was the angel of the Lord. We're certainly going to die, he said to his wife, because we have seen God. But his wife said to him, If the Lord had intended to kill us, he wouldn't have accepted the burnt offering and the grain offering from us. And he would not have shown us all these things are spoken to us like this. So the woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson. The boy grew and the Lord blessed him. Then the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol.
Ayun. Thank you, Ate Says. And that is how Samson was born, or ganun na umpisa yung buhay ni Samson. And as parang napaka-common nung story na yun, no? Yung wife hindi makaanak, and then the Lord would give them a child. Kanino natin nabasa yan, di ba? Abraham, and everyone, marami pang mga ganyan, di ba? God would really use the weakness of man to really show His greatness and His strength and His might and everything, di ba? And His control over all things. And the angel of the Lord appeared to the couple, and may mga warning and all. And again, that's it's always through an angel as well how the Lord does His work. Tapos ano pa ba? Bago ko masabi yung mga nasa isip ko at ma-spoil ko lahat. Ayun, mga ka-awesome, share nyo naman yung thoughts nyo about sa reading natin tonight, the birth of Samson, what have you observed, no? And batiin ko lang din yung mga humabol din pala. Andito na rin si Dad. Hello, Dad. Awesome evening din sa'yo pa. Alright, so tuwagin ko na si Ate Says for her first insights sa reading natin tonight. Go ahead, Ate.
Yan, thank you, Kyo. So, before ako mag-insights, gusto ko lang i-share. Kasi yung story actually ni Samson, yung pinaka-first Bible story na I know by heart. Pero yung story na alam ko, yung parang children verse. Ganon, ever since nung bata ako. So, kaya yun, I'm excited to read his story again. So, ayan. So, okay. In verse 1, diba yan? So, in verse 1, makikita natin doon yung pattern again sa mga Israel tulad ng nabanggit ni Kuya O, diba? Yung cycle of sin, repent, tapos sin again. That's why, again, God brought Israel under the ruling of the Philistines. But, again, He brought another judge. Yan. And then sa verses 2 and 3, yan. So there was this couple nga who cannot have a child. And then God chose this couple from where the next judge will be born. So it's a great blessing and a miracle to them. And tulad din na nabanggit ni Kuya O, yung story na ganito nga is repeated again. Like si Sarah, 'di ba, who is also childless until God blessed her with a son at old age. So, makikita ulit natin siya dito. And then, what else ba? Ayun. So, sa verse 5, nabanggit doon yung Nazirite. So, the child shall be a Nazirite who is devoted to God. So, ano ba yung Nazirite vow? Diba? They are the people who are especially dedicated to God, wherein some of their practices or yung vow nga is leaving their hair uncut, avoid drinking wine and eating unclean food, and avoid any contact also with anything dead, even your direct family, bawal. So, it was also stated na the child will be a Nazirite to God from the womb, which was unusual sa case ni Samson. Wherein usually kasi a person can take a vow of a Nazirite without specific period of time, man or a woman, ganon. But in Samson's case, nasa womb pa lang siya, he will already live under that vow. Kaya siguro habang pregnant pa lang si mother niya, she's already forbidden to drink wine and eat unclean food. So, yun. And we can also see here yung God's promise in here na the baby or Samson will deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. So it's nung binasa ko siya, parang ang amazing kasi baby pa lang siya or nasa womb pa lang siya actually. He already have a purpose in life. Or alam na niya yung path na tatahakin niya, di ba? And I believe even for us, we are brought or pinanganak din tayo with a purpose. We may not know it immediately, just like Samson, but we are given our whole life to discover it. Yan. Yun nga. And it may not be like Samson na isasave niya yung buong Israel, but I believe we all have a purpose here on earth and we can know it better when we abide with the Lord. Diba? So yun. So that's why it's really important to seek God first before we make our own plans. So yun. So yun muna siguro, Kuya O.
Sige, thank you, Ate says. And I agree, for them before they had parang may destined eh. They are destined to do this and do that, like Samson, no? But that's in the Old Testament. But now we have this freedom to choose on how we can serve the Lord, which is like, it's such a gift. It's such a great gift, no? This freedom that we have. Then, even the following, how we follow our Lord, is like, do we follow? It's still a choice. But then again, remember, there's consequence to it. Do we follow or do we disobey or we don't follow? There's consequence to that. And when we follow, how? Diba? How do we serve? We have talents and we use them. Ang broad nung pag-set ng service natin ngayon, how we can write our own story, our legacy. It's up to us, which is like, again, a privilege and a gift. So, it's good to align ourselves. Totoo yung sinabi ni Ate says, to align ourselves with the will of the Lord, so that we're not lost and we're not always guessing, anong gagawin ko? Because everything has been revealed to us in the scripture. So take time to study the word, the teachings of Jesus. So yun yung comparison of us and the people from before, like Samson. They were destined to, for example, Samson was destined to save Israel from the Philistines. And actually the Nazarite, na-define na rin ni Cez kanina, pero actually nabasa na nito mga ka-awesome sa Numbers chapter 6. So basahin ko lang yung first verses, no? It is a special vow a person makes. Sabi doon sa verse 2, if a man or woman wants to make a special vow, a vow of dedication to the Lord as a Nazarite, they must abstain from wine and other fermented drink, and must not drink vinegar made from wine or other fermented drink. Tapos andun yung marami siyang guideline on how to keep the vow. Anong ibig sabihin? If you're a Nazarite, basically you are dedicated to the Lord. The Lord, yun yung pinakabuhay mo, di ba? You are dedicated to the Lord. And this is Numbers in that time. They take it as grown people. They decide on it. But for Samson, it was decided for the Lord. Even from the womb nga, di ba, says, sa womb pa lang siya, Nazarite na siya from birth. So, to me, it's like, how you see it minsan it's parang napaka restricting na wala, hindi man niya na-enjoy yung buhay niya, ganito, ganyan. But it's like, if you look at how the good side of it or the better side of way of looking at it is that hindi ka pa pinapanganak, tinatawag ka na ng Diyos. Di ba? Parang what a privilege that is. Ayun. So, to be a Nazarite, hindi ka pa buhay, wala pang malay. Sa Diyos ka na. So, what? Di ba? What a privilege. So, such a good start din. Ayun. And, ano pa ba? Ayun, doon muna. As nabanggit ko na din kanina, as nabanggit na rin ni says on how God shows His power and control over all things, no? Itong mag-asawang to, they cannot bear a child. So they were childless. But the Lord came upon them to really show them that He is Lord and He is all-powerful through an angel. And then, di nga sila makapaniwala, di ba? Sa latter part, nabasa na rin naman ni says, takot pa sila, sabi nila, mamatay tayo. We saw the Lord. So they finally have realized that it was truly the Lord, and it's nice that they still acknowledge the Lord to be all-powerful. Given that, so first verses nga di ba, they again went to the same cycle of doing what is detestable to the Lord. So ito na naman yung cycle na ipinakita rin ni Kuya Jesse yung diagram before, na they will disobey, they will be oppressed, and then they will cry to the Lord will help them, then they will disobey again and again and again. And ito, hanggang kay Samson. Tapos, ayun, si Arnel, may comment siya, sabi niya, same as Jesus Christ, the angel of the Lord revealed to Mary and to Joseph after Samson destined to save Israelites to the hand of the Philistines. Oh, true. Tapos, di ba, on how Jesus was conceived, how He was born. Di ba? Ganun na ganun din. Though, hindi, nakasulat ba yun? Hindi naman sinabi Mary that she couldn't bore a child, but walang nangyari. Basta nabuntis siya kay Jesus and all. So it was still an unnatural kind of pregnancy and birth. Ayun. Pero still, ang ganda nung comparison din ni Arnel. Tapos Jesus is destined to not only save mankind, not just Israel, but mankind, not only from Philistines, but from the slavery to sin, to eternal death. So, parang Samson, he has a great destiny to save Israel from Philistines, but Jesus is way more. Diba? His destiny is to really save us from eternal damnation, which is like, wow. And we've read that in the gospel. So awesome. Thank you for this, Arnel. And mga ka-awesome, sabayan nyo naman si Arnel mag-comment. What are your thoughts? Ano ba sa natin? What do you remember about Samson? Anyway, tawagin ko ulit si Ate Says. What about your second, Ate Says?
Ayun. So, yun, napansin ko din kaya sa sharing mo na parang si Samson lang yung born na, yung baby pa lang siya, parang judge na siya, parang ganun. And pinipare na siya ni Lord na parang mamuhay na dedicated to Him. So, yes, indeed. So, yun. And then, since nabanggit ni Arnel si Jesus Christ in comparison, ba't kaya si Jesus hindi siya naging Nazarite? Di ba? Parang to din. Siguro kasi Jesus Himself is already perfect na parang no need for that vow. Ganun siguro. So, yun. So, okay. So, another insight. Since nabanggit na natin yung a man of God sa reading natin, or yun, a man of God sa verse 6. Yan. And I remember yung insight dito ni Kuya AG regarding this, na yung tinutukoy dito is actually Jesus, if I'm right. Yan. So I won't tap on that. You can rewatch in our previous readings about yan, seeing the man of God. Yan. So, yes. And then my next insight is in verse 8, yung prayer ni Manoah, yung wherein, di ba, even though he already knew the commands of God, he asked for confirmation. So, siguro gusto niya na siya mismo yung makarinig yung command ni Lord. Yan, which is sometimes din, di ba, ganun din tayo. We want to hear something firsthand. Especially dito na a man of God nga yung nag-command sa asawa niya. So yun, so God granted yung request ni Manoah, and so the angel of the Lord appeared again sa kanila. Yun. And then makikita rin natin dito yung sa verse 16, yung the angel of the Lord is indeed a man of God because he did not accept the food na ina-offer ni Manoah. Instead, sinuggest niya na mag-offer na lang sila ng burnt offering na lang kay Lord. So yun, siguro it's a proof na yung man of God nga is really a man of God. Yun. And then in verse 20, we can also see how the angel of the Lord showed to the couple na he was really sent by God because of what happened, di ba? Parang unusual. I mean, amazing. He proved na he is really wonderful by doing a wondrous thing. Yung pag-ascend niya sa flame. Diba? So, amazing. Paano kaya yun? So, yun. Pinakita niya, pinove niya sa kanila Manoah na what he commanded was really from God. Yan. And then yung response niya, tulad ng nasabi ni Kuya Una din na parang Manoah responded in fear because he knew about what God said siguro dito ba sa Exodus na no one can see God's face or else they won't live. Yun, parang ganun sa Exodus. Kaya siguro natakot siya since nakita nga nila si God and baka mamatay sila. But then here we can see yung character yung wife ni Manoah. So I was wondering bakit walang name yung asawa ni Manoah. Manoah's wife lang yung pag sa kanya. So, yun. So, yun nga, narinig ni Manoah yung fear, yung asawa ni Manoah, yung fear ni Manoah. But his wife understood what God meant. So, she encouraged Manoah saying na, hindi, parang the Lord will not kill us because he accepted our offering. So, that's actually important siguro sa point na yun kasi nga, parang may fear na si Manoah but then his wife encouraged him that way. Kaya that's also important of the importance of having someone who will encourage you so you won't live in fear. Yan. So, yun muna siguro kaya.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, says no, and dun sa offering part, ang naalala ko dito ulit was Gideon. Whenever they get an encounter with the Lord through an angel, mga ganun, no, or a messenger, they would want to offer something to them. Tapos, ang wording nila usually, if I have found favor in your eyes, diba, stay and I will offer you something. Pero dito, unusual yung offering ng asawa ni Manoah na sabi niya, I will give you food, but they don't eat. Pero ang response nung man of the Lord or nung angel or messenger was, if you're going to offer it as a burnt offering, offer it to the Lord. So, ang dami ng signs na ano ba tawag doon? Or indication that angel was really from the Lord. Hindi sila makapaniwala. Bandang dito pa sa babae, no, sa verse 22, doon nila talaga fully realize na, we just had an encounter with the Lord. And they were stricken with fear. Ayan. But hindi naman din yun, sabi nga, he said to his wife, because we have seen God. But his wife said to him, if the Lord had intended to kill us, oo naman, first encounter pa lang, namatay na dapat sila, pero hindi naman. He wouldn't have accepted the burnt offering and the grain offering from us. And itong burnt offering and grain offering, we've read this as well. So, makita natin na hanggang dito sa part na to, they are still doing the commands, the laws from before, and it still means something to them. And dito sa commentary from my Bible, a grain offering is an offering offered to the Lord to show respect, to show honor to Him, and ayun, so that was accepted from the Lord, and He wouldn't have showed shown us all these things or spoken to us like this. So, yung attitude din ng wife, no? It was, paano ba? Basta, yung maganda yung attitude ng wife. Nawawalan ako ng words. Tapos dito si Arnel, meron siyang kinwote from, I believe this is from Jeremiah chapter 1. Sabi, before I formed you in the belly, I have known you, and before you come forth from the womb, I have separated you. I have made you a prophet to the nations. So, does it refer to Samson? I'm not sure. I'll get back to that. Pero if it is, though, give us more insight on this. Pero yes, doon sa verse na to, binabanggit is that even how Samson was created, it was really, again, all planned by the Lord, umpisa pa lang, no? That he saw how Israel is being, overtaken. I mean, balikan natin. Nawawala talaga yung words sa utak ko. So verse 1, he handed them over to the Philistines. Ayun. So he knew that problem. So this is a way of the Lord disciplining them, diba? Pero hindi rin niya pinabayaan. He also gave them the solution, or paano ba? Yun a solution. A judge who would save them from the Philistines. So hindi niya pinabayaan. It was more of a discipline because they still do what is evil in the Lord's sight. And that was through the birth of Samson, given by the Lord as well. So we can see it's all planned by God. Siya lahat. It's His name written all over it. Nagiging instrument lang yung mga tao. It's not even about Samson. It's still about the Lord, diba? He was directly given to them by the Lord. So how awesome is that? Ayan. And ano pa ba? Ayun. Yun muna. At it says, may third ka pa ba?
Sa ano lang, very short. Sa last verses, yun. So, sa last verses, so yun na nga. Samson was already born, and the Spirit of the Lord was with him. That's why siguro, he is extraordinarily strong. 'Di ba? Kahit sa dulo, makita natin na parang, yun nga, just like what Kuya U said, yung focus niya is si Lord pa din. Because the Spirit of the Lord was with Samson. Yan. So, makita natin na yung strength niya alone is not from him, but it's from God Himself. So, ayan. Naubusan na ako ng words. Yeah.
Ayun. And then, ano pa ba? It's true. Ang may dito sa plus part din na ito, no? So the woman gave birth to a son, named him Samson. The boy grew and the Lord blessed him. So you can see that still, again, the Lord is still in control of everything. Diba? Nagiging instrument lang itong mga taong to. Then the Spirit of the Lord began to steer him in the camp of Dan between Zoar and Eshtaol. So it's just basically saying that God's guidance has been over him all throughout. So it's really a good start, no? A very good start sa buhay nila nung couple and then Samson. But knowing the story of Samson, diba? Paano nangyari? And he was indeed mighty. He is super strong. And it has something to do with the hair. As a child, no? Pero it's not really about the hair. It's more of the vow, being a Nazarite and being dedicated to the Lord. Yan. And medyo nasa-spoil, but we already know the story of Samson anyway. Pero mas in detail in the following days. And that is basically the reading tonight, no? Medyo intro lang siya, kaya short lang siya and brief, medyo straightforward then. Because it is to talk about the birth of Samson, how it was started, or how he was born. Yeah. Ayan. Papunta na tayo sa takeaways, mga ka-awesome, sa response. Ano naman ang takeaways for tonight's reading natin? Lagay nyo lang sa comments. I will read them after sa sharing ni Ate Cez. So, Ate Cez, what about, ano naman ang sharing mo for tonight? Or takeaways pala, takeaways.
Ayun. So, my main takeaways, there are two. Short. Yan. So, first is, yun nga, na just like Samson, God already planned his life for him. So, we should rest in that, parang thought na God also have a plan for us and He have a purpose for us. And I like to share a verse that I find very promising. In Proverbs 19 verse 21, sabi doon, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." So, yun. So, if ever na parang nawawala ka na, parang you're asking yourself, ano ba yung purpose ko here? Ganyan. So, you will know it better when you seek God first and pray, and also, important yung reading the Bible because doon mo rin makikita yung parang reflection ng life mo through the Bible. And then, second, napansin ko talaga dito yung yung character ng wife ni Manoah na if ever we're living in fear, ganyan, we need encouragement and don't hesitate to ask others, especially our brothers and sisters, ganyan, if you need encouragement. It doesn't show na you're weak, but it shows na you're brave enough and you're strong enough, just like Samson. So, yun, those are my takeaways, kuya.
Awesome. Thank you, Says. And very encouraging yung first takeaways ni Ate Says, that God has a plan for us, and it may not be as straightforward as Samson or, for example, Joshua or Moses, but the ultimate plan of God is to really restore us. And then on how we can serve Him, it's really just it's a blank canvas, if I may, It's a unwritten journal. It's you on how you're going to serve, on how you're going to really show the Lord your love to Him. Parang ganun. So, which is a beautiful thing, diba? It's not very restricting. We can express our love to Him in many ways. Pero still, always be guided by the scriptures because we can make our own way of showing our obedience to Him na hindi naman pala natama, ganon. So medyo skewed na, may mga extremes din. So we still have to be guided by His will, by His standards, His principles. But in the bigger sense, our bigger picture is that we serve Him all by just love, diba? And there's so many ways on how we can express our love to Him. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. And may dagdag dito si Arnel, sabi niya, pinakita dito na inaalaw ng Lord na matamo nila ang parusa o pagpapalo ng Diyos tulad ng pagsuway nila sa Diyos o kasalanan. Kaya sila napahamak at nasakop ng mga Palestine. Pero ang Diyos pa rin ang magpapalaya sa kanila dahil sila ay mahal ng Diyos. Ayun, di ba? Lalo na nang sila ay magpakumbaba sa Diyos. That is true. So, this is, again, it's a recurring, it's a cycle, all because of stubbornness of the Israelites. And then that's the discipline and also the consequence of their stubbornness. Diba? Pero, again, it's also a cycle on how the Lord continues to save them, to give them a judge who will deliver them from the hands of whoever's oppressing them. And it is the same with us. It's yung stubbornness, it does not end with the Israelites or the people from before. We still have that stubbornness in us, diba? Which we resist. We resist every single day. We fight that urge to be stubborn, to be lazy, to be complacent. Name it. We battle these things every single day. And we keep in mind the principles that the Lord has taught us. And then, with that, the Lord is with us as well. Because why? Diba? Why? Because the Lord loves us. Let that sink in, diba? That the Lord loves us. No matter what we battle, we don't battle it alone because the Lord is with us. So, it's really yung love, yung glue between our relationship and the Lord. Diba? So, thank you for this, Kuya Arnel, no? Diyos pa rin ang magpapalaya sa kanila dahil sila ay mahal ng Diyos. And in the same way, how Jesus has freed us from the slavery of sin because He loves us. It's really love that yung root of all these. It's the love of God. And sabi naman ni Kuya Jesse, God listens and answers our prayers. That is true, and we already know this, but we have to always remember this. Prayer is very strong and important. And God listens. God listens. It may seem like hindi, kasi we pray, wala naman nangyayari. We also have to be patient, but don't doubt na narinig ba niya ako? He listens. He listens because he cares. Sabi, dagdag pa ni Arnel, sapagkat dinidisiplina ng Panginoon ang mga minamahal niya at pinapalo at inututuring niyang anak. Tiisin niyo ang lahat ng hirap bilang pagtutuwid ng isang ama dahil ito'y nagpapakilalang kayo'y tinatanggap ng Diyos bilang tunay niyang mga anak. Sino ang anak na hindi dinidisiplina ng kanyang ama? As in Hebrews chapter 12 verse 6 to 7, dinidisiplina ng Diyos ang kanyang bayan at tinuturing niyang kanya. Diba? Just like any father would discipline their child or any parent would discipline their child. And they always say, diba? In general, yung pinaka reason why parents discipline their kid is it's just to keep them away from harm, to make them learn, to discipline them because why? They love them. Diba? That's why we, as kids, hindi natin magets yun kasi, parusahan ka eh. How could you call this love? Pinalo mo ako sa puwet, gano'n, diba? Pero as we grow, we will realize that that's the point of it. To keep us away from harm, to teach us so that we'll know our ways. And that is also how we are being taught by our Father in heaven. These challenges, these storms, God allows. It is to make us stronger, diba? And we don't face them on our own. We face them with the Lord. And again, He also would not allow any temptation na alam niyang sasakupin tayo, diba? He will always also give a way out. So He's really letting us go through these challenges, but not alone and not without a way out. He is our way out. So still, His love is there. Dagdag pa ni Kuya Jesse, I also see here na the importance of obedience and trust in the Lord as always. It's true. Yung response ng asawa ni Manoah, diba? And also, as we continue, mas may, may impact tong comment ni Kuya Jesse, yung importance of obedience and trust in the Lord as always. Actually, I mean, sa lahat naman na nabasa natin, totoo tong dalawa, obedience and trust. Ito yung nawawala at nagkakaroon. It really makes a change. May difference when they obey and when they trust. And may sobrang malaking difference then when they disobey and if they lose trust in the Lord. So, very important din yan. Thank you, Kuya Jesse. Yan. And, wala na ba? Okay, wala na. Alright, awesome. Thank you mga ka-awesome mga KBC for reflecting with us tonight. And so far, like I said, it's really short. Kasi birth pa lang ni Samson yan. Mas marami pang details, mas marami pang ganap as we continue to read from his life. And with that, I think we can end the episode there. Thank you, Ate Says, for sharing with us tonight. And kayo din mga ka-awesome. Kita-kits tayo bukas ulit, 9 p.m. onwards, dito lang sa YouTube and sa Facebook as we continue to read, reflect, and respond from the life of Samson. And as always, stay healthy, stay safe, stay awesome, stay with Jesus, and continue to shine the light of Jesus wherever we may be, and continue to love one another with the love of Jesus. Good night, God bless, and don't forget to pray. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good night. Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.